Hey friends, Jeff here from Moka Origins for another Moka Meetup. Today, I am super excited and honored to be with Bill Guyton, the Executive Director of the FCIA. Hey Bill, how you doing?
Good, Jeff. It's great to be here.
I appreciate you taking the time to join us. And this is really a new series for us called Moka Meetup, where we take a moment to discuss with other people in the chocolate supply chain from our producing community and other people that are part of the chocolate and coffee supply chain, and really find ways to do what we do better and find ways that we can ultimately make the world a better place through coffee and chocolate. And so today's Mocha Meetup, we are going to explore the the FCIA, the Fine Chocolate Institute Association, and dig into what it's all about. So once more, welcome, Bill. We'd love to hear about your background and really how the FCIA came to be.
Great, Jeff. Well, I'm just really pleased to be here today and wanted to thank you and all of your team at Moka for being strong supporters and members of FCIA for quite some time. The Fine Chocolate Industry Association was formed back in 2007. And at that time, Jeff, there was just a few number of company members and individuals that really had the passion that wanted to have a separate organization specifically focused on that top tier, that top 5 to 10% of the chocolate industry that really was all about quality. So since then, we've seen the membership grow. And today we have between 325 to 350 company members and individuals, all who have a passion for fine chocolate and all representing different segments of the fine chocolate industry.
That's amazing. Congrats on that growth.
Yeah, we're particularly pleased about that during this COVID period, that we still have membership growth. And I think more than ever, when there are difficult times in the marketplace, organizations like ours help to bring together smaller companies and upstarts to look at how they can band together and overcome some of the obstacles. And we've seen such a great transition and pivot of our company members a lot to more online sales and looking at new ways that they can market their products.
Absolutely. Yeah. As a startup ourselves, we really look to, other makers, and oftentimes we're introduced through, organizations like the FCIA. And, one reason that we were so drawn to the FCIA was because of the content and the educational resource that you guys provide there. And so if you're, a chocolate maker, if you're a chocolatier, you should definitely become aware of the FCIA, and you should consider becoming a member and take advantage of the content and the member only resources there for sure. I know it's really helped us as a company, figure things out, and I think bypass some of the growing pains that makers have had that have come before us. So once more, thank you for all of what you do to support the industry. I wanted to kind of frame up the phrase craft chocolate and put a definition around it. Chocolate is one of those things that we eat every day as a nation of consumers. But fine chocolate or craft chocolate or specialty chocolate, can you just kind of help us understand a little bit about what that really means?
It's a hard thing to define, but we've tried our best at the Fine Chocolate Industry Association. And basically, we're looking at 5 different aspects, Jeff. One is looking at the flavor. What kind of flavor does this chocolate have? Does it have a unique terroir? Does it have the genetics that really make it special and unique and different from other kinds of chocolate? The second aspect is around texture. And we see that most fine chocolate is typically minimally processed, but sometimes it is more processed too. So there's a different spectrum there about the texture, but it tends to be different than the uniformity of texture that you would find from mass market chocolate. The third area is on appearance. And as you know, Jeff, the companies in our industry are true artists. They not only make chocolate, but they make beautiful products. And usually they're very visually appealing. So that's another aspect that really differentiates it. And then the fourth area is limited ingredients. And typically, fine chocolate is higher in cocoa content, lower in sugar, which most people realize. So if you look at a chocolate bar and you see sugar as the first ingredient, typically that's not going to be a fine chocolate. Or if you see a long list of ingredients on there with names you can't pronounce, and that typically is not a fine chocolate either. And then the final category is on ethical sourcing. And, like Moka origins, that's so important to the fine chocolate industry, is that the sustainability of the crop, the ethical treatment of farmers and farm families and the environment are vitally important. So those are really the distinguishing factors.
That was very well put. And I love it. So it's really a combination of those key characteristics that make up fine flavored cocoa and chocolate ultimately, and chocolate products. So excellent. That's a lot of different things to consider. And, when we founded Moka, we were, making just small little test batches of chocolate, kind of right off of the farm in Cameroon that we were working on. And it's hard to get all of those right. In fact, we still haven't, and our learning process is never over. You mentioned sourcing, you mentioned ingredient composition and texture and appearance, and of course flavor. And so it's a lot to master. And I think that it's really important though for consumers to be it's almost like like the level of standard needs to come up a little bit. And when we have people come into our shop, a lot of them ask, so what is craft chocolate and specialty coffee all about, and we kind of start with a tasting, because it helps to tell so much of that definition just through the experience that they have themselves. They taste it, you can taste the difference. And then from there, we kind of dive into the definitions like you've just done. But on shelf, it's really hard. It's hard to have a consumer buy into the idea of something that they haven't experienced. So that kind of leads me to my next question or point and follow-up question, which is, awareness is important. If, for example, Mocha Origins, our whole goal is to use chocolate as kind of like a vehicle to achieve social change. And we do that through ethical sourcing, and proceeds go back to our program in Cameroon and planting trees. But none of that would exist or sustain if we didn't have a consuming base purchasing our chocolate. And as an industry, that holds true as well. We really need consumers to be educated about chocolate and fine chocolate and have interest in that. So question for you, what has the FCIA found to be a successful communication campaign or engagement tactic to get consumers aware of craft chocolate and the differences that chocolate can make?
Well, first of all, Jeff, we realize that all consumers are not the same. And so one of the things that we've done over the last few years is partnered with other organizations like the National Confectioners Association to do a consumer survey, a nationwide survey in the United States of chocolate consumers. And we broke down those consumers into mass market consumers, chocolate consumers, premium chocolate consumers, and then fine chocolate consumers. And of course, we're most interested in that fine chocolate consumer. What are they looking for? What do they think about certification? What do they think about ethical sourcing? What is important for them as far as flavor attributes? Is single origin important to them? So I'm pleased to report that we just completed a new survey of consumers that has been completed, and we will be giving the results in October. So hopefully we'll gain some new insights into what consumers are looking for in fine chocolate, particularly during this period of COVID, and seeing if there are any changes over the last survey. But what we do know is that fine chocolate consumers tend to be younger, but not always, urban-based. Our initial hypothesis were that they were more coastal on the West Coast or East Coast, but we're finding more and more that fine chocolate companies are springing up throughout the United States and are finding consumer markets wherever they go. So if you lead with a wonderful product and you market it right, the consumers will come. And we've seen that in other industries too, such as coffee, which of course you're very familiar with.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to read that survey. It's such a great way to inform our business decisions of small companies to have that level of awareness. I bet cost has a lot to do with it as well. Just looking at the economics of a craft chocolate bar, costs probably tend to be more so than commodity chocolate or bulk chocolate, and I'm sure that factors into that as well as far as the demographics.
Yes. It's true, but we're also finding that top tier of consumers are willing to pay the price for quality. And our hope is that more and more premium chocolate consumers will find their way to the fine chocolate market. And I think that's beginning to happen too. So we're seeing some transitions there, and even with mass market consumers. So I see a great potential for fine chocolate in the United States and overseas.
Love everything we're hearing about that. That sounds great. We're feeling that energy as well. Our customer base is growing, and people more than ever, I think, are interested in good quality, sustainable sourcing, and products that can do good. And well, thank you so much. I want to bring it to probably one of the funner parts, which is talking about some of the campaigns that you at the FCIA carry out, I think on a monthly basis. But the newest one being your monthly chocolate break. Can you give us a little bit of insight into what that's all about? And then also, how can we sign up for that or find out more information to join that?
Great. Well, Jeff, you were one of the leaders behind the concept of Chocolate Break, which is a live Instagram event that we hold once a month. At Fine Chocolate Industry Association, we've decided to designate a different theme for each month. And so we pick a theme related to chocolate, and we have a blog at the beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, we invite 2 or 3 of our company members to talk about that theme on live Instagram on Chocolate Break. So you can get more details about that on our consumer-facing website called makemindfine.com. And if you look under the blog, you'll see the entries of all of the past speakers at live Instagram and how you can sign up for that. So it's a really fun event, and we're hoping that more and more consumers will participate. And by the way, it's called live Instagram /giveaway because we do a raffle or a drawing, and the lucky winner gets to sample the chocolate bars from all of the participating companies.
That's a great concept. It was a lot of fun to be involved in that. And I love watching every month as new makers are included and released, and the blog content that goes out to support it. And ultimately the chocolate that makes its way out into the world. So we will all go to makemindfine. Is it .com, you said?
It's .com. And I just also wanted to mention too, Jeff, that there were over 90 companies listed on that website, including Moka Origins. So if chocolate lovers want to find chocolate products that they can purchase online, they can go there. We also have a whole section about origin. So you can read about what happens in different chocolate or cocoa origins and learn about what makes them special and unique, and the history about cocoa in Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia.
So valuable. That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have put together a really big value stack and made it available to all. So kudos to you, Bill, for everything you've done for the craft chocolate industry. And it's always a pleasure connecting and sharing stories. And thank you so much for joining our Moka meetup.
Thanks, Jeff. This has been a lot of fun, and all the success to you.
Appreciate it. Be well, Bill. Thank you.